Hello everybody. In this video, we'll cover IPv4 addressing. Understanding IPv4 and its basics, classifications of IP addressing, understanding IP packet structure, number system conversion, IP routing basics. IPv4 basics. IPv4 address is 32-bit number that can uniquely identify a network or system. In binary notation, it is represented in 4 parts of 8 bits and each part is separately called as octet. These bits are in 0 and 1 format. In decimal notation, it is represented in 4 parts containing numbers between 0 to 255 and each part separated by dot. For example, 10.128.209.1 where 10 is in first octet, 128 is in second octet, 209 in third octet and 1 in fourth octet. IPv4 contains two parts, network prefix and host number. Network prefix is used to identify the network to which host is associated, and host number is the part to identify the specific machine or device. Like, as we know, in the above example, we taken 10.128.209.1, where 10.128.209.0 is the network and dot 1 in the fourth octet is the host, which can be used as IP address of system. IPv4 addresses are assigned by Central Number Authority called the Internet Assigned Number Authority, IANA. IANA ensures that addresses are globally unique. All the IPv4 addresses that are publicly accessible are unique, and with the help of this public IPv4 addresses, servers and other devices that contains IPv4 addresses are identified on network or internet. IPv4 address types. Types of addressing. There are two types of IPv4 addressing, classful and classless addressing. In classful routing, IP addresses are classified into 5 classes, namely class A, B, C, D and E. Classes A to C are used for unicast addresses, class D for multicast addresses, and class E for future use. For networking, we generally use class A to C. But there are some disadvantages of classful routing as mentioned below. If you can see that in class A we can have maximum of 16,777,214 addresses. In class B we can have maximum of 65534 addresses. In class C we can have maximum of 254 addresses. Class C contains the least number of addresses and class A contains the maximum number of addresses. But if we require a network of 2000 addresses, we have to go with class B instead of class C. But it would be wasting of so many addresses, because when you choose 2000 addresses from class B, the remaining addresses that are 65534 minus 2000 are going to be wasted. And for resolving this and preventing the wastage of IPs, CIDR was introduced. CIDR is classless inter-domain routing. It allows the user to use variable length subnet mask. In short, we can say VLSM. In variable length subnet mask, we can use the /x notation for providing the subnet of required number of hosts and without wasting unnecessary IPs. In place of x with slash, we can use 28, 24, 25. By using that notation, it will only provide the limited number of addresses to use. Classification of IP addressing. IP addresses in IPv4 are classified into 5 classes: Class A, Class B, Class C, Class D, and Class E. Class A. In Class A, first 8 bits of first octet denotes network portion, and remaining bits and octet denotes host portion. You can see that in 10.1.1.1 is the example for Class A. 10 is in first octet, which is representing the network part. 1.1.1, last 3 octets, this is representing the host part. Address range is 0.0.0.0 to 127.255.255.255. In binary notation, 0.0.0 can be written as all zeros in all 4 octets, and 127.255.255.255 can be written as 0 and all ones. Example for Class A is 10.1.1.1. I already discussed 10 is the network part and 1.1.1 is the host part. Class A contains the highest number or the maximum number of IP addresses in the host part. Class B. In Class B, first 16 bits or first 2 octets denote network portion, and remaining bits and octets denotes the host portion. Means in example 172.16.1.1, 172.16 is the network part and 1.1 is the host part. Address range is 128.0.0.0 to 191.255.255.255. In binary notation, 128.0.0.0 can be written as 1000000 in first octet and all zeros in all 3 remaining octets. And 191.255.255.255 can be written as 10111111 in the first octet and all ones in the remaining 3 octets. Example of Class B is 172.16.1.1. Class C. In Class C, first 24 bits or first 3 octets denotes network portion and remaining bits and octets denotes host portion. For example, 192.168.1 is the network part and fourth octet, that is 1, is the host part. Address range is 192.0.0.0 to 223.255.255.255. In binary notation, 192.0.0.0 can be written as 11000000 in first octet and all zeros in remaining 3 octets. And 223.255.255.255 can be written as 11011111 and all ones in remaining 3 octets. Example of Class C IP address is 192.168.1.1. Class D. Class D is used for multicast addressing. Address range is from 224.0.0.0 to 239.255.255.255. In binary notation, 224.0.0.0 can be written as 111 and all zeros. 239.255.255.255 can be written as 11101111 and all ones in all three remaining octets. Example of class D IP address is 239.2.2.2. We use class D IP addresses for multicasting. For example, multicasting the classroom session from hub to different sites using Skynet. Class E. Class E is used for future use and research. Address range is from 240.0.0.0 to 255.255.255.255. In binary notation, 240.0.0.0 can be written as 11110010 and all zeros in remaining octets. 255, 255, 255 and 255 can be written as all ones in all four octets. Example of class E IP address is 240.255.255.255. Class A 127.x.x.x is reserved for loopback. 0.x.x.x is reserved for default network. 255, 255, 255, 255 is the broadcast IP address. IP packet structure. IP packet structure is of 32 bits. In the IP packet, there are many components like version, IHL, type of service, total length, identification, flags, fragment offset, time to live, protocol, header checksum, source IP address, destination IP address, options, data. Version is of 4 bits and it provides the version number of Internet Protocol, that is IPv4. IHL is also of 4 bits and it is called as Internet Header Length. Type of service, it consists low delay, high throughput, reliability, and it is of 8 bits. Total length is length of header plus data, which is of 16 bits. Minimum 20 bytes and maximum 65535 bytes. Identification, it uniquely identifies a group of fragments in packet and it also takes 16 bits. Flags, 3 flags of 1 bit each. Reserved bit, do not fragment flag, more fragment flag. Fragment offset, it provides the position of fragment in IP packet, means the location of fragment. Time to live, in short we can say TTL. Every packet is sent with some TTL value set which tells the network how many routers this packet can cross. At each hop, its value decreases by 1 and when it reaches to 0, packet will discard. Means when host A sends packet to host B, there would be several number of routers in between the host A and host B. Whenever packet cross any router or hop, the TTL value will be decreased by 1 and it will reach the destination. But if TTL value becomes 0 and it is not reached to destination, the packet will be discarded. Protocol. Protocol contains the name of protocol that will be used to pass data like FTP, SFTP, HTTP, HTTPS, etc. Header checksum. It is used for error checking of entire header and the value matched at router. If value not matched, packet is discarded, and if value is matched, packet will be further processed. Source address. Sender address is called as the source address. Destination address is called as the receiver address. Both are of 32 bits. For example, if host A is sending a packet to host B, host A would be the source and host B would be the destination. Options. Options field is used if IHL is greater than 5, means if internet header length is greater than 5, then options field can be used, and it may contain values for options like security, record route and timestamp. Data field contains the data. Let's look at number system conversion. Decimal number system and binary number system. Number system with base 10 is called decimal number system. Number system with base 2 is called binary number system. Decimal number system is written in numeric format where IP address can be written as 172.16.1.1, where minimum value of number can be 0 and maximum value of number can be 255. In binary number system, this IP address can be written in 0 and 1 format and can be written as 10101100 in place of 172, 00010000 in place of 16, which is octet 2. In octet 3, which is 1, can be written as 000001, means only the last bit would be 1 and all remaining 0. Again, the last octet is 1, so the last octet in binary notation would be written as 00000001. Again, only we are putting on the last bit, which is 1. So how we are writing this notification and how we are getting to know that 172.16.1.1 is converting to this, we will get to know by knowing the number system conversion. So let's take binary to decimal first. First of all, we will learn how binary number can be converted to decimal number system. Let's suppose binary number is as written here, which is in the first octet 00001010 and octet 2 1 and all remaining 0. Octet 3 1101000001. In octet 4 00000001. So this is a binary number. Now we have to convert this number to the decimal number. For converting this decimal number, we have a general formula to calculate a decimal equivalent of this binary number. For converting this binary number, we will convert each octet separately, and then after completing or converting all the octets, we will finally combine the results of all octets to get the decimal number. Let's say octet 1, which is 00001010. For converting this octet 1 number to decimal number, which will give the result of octet 1 of decimal number, we will use this formula. So first of all, we will start from the right hand side. In the formula, you can see in the rightmost side we are multiplying 0 with 2 raised to power 0 because the last bit of octet 1 is 0. So we are multiplying it with the 2 raised to power 0. Then next most left bit, for example, the second last bit would be multiplied by 2 raised to power 1. Again, the third last bit would be multiplied by 2 raised to power 2. Then it will increment and go up to 2 raised to power 7 for all 8 bits. So in this step you can see 0 into 2 raised to power 0 plus 1 into 2 raised to power 1, 0 into 2 raised to power 2, 1 into 2 raised to power 3 plus 2, 0 into 2 raised to power 4, because wherever 0 is mentioned it will be multiplied with that series, and if 1 is there it will be multiplied by that. But the number 0 is multiplied with 2 raised to power 0 or 2 raised to power 2 will not give any result, it will give only 0. But still we will follow the general formula and write all the numbers as necessary. So on the right hand side of equal to, you can see we get the result 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 8 plus 0 plus 2 plus 0, and finally the result of octet 1 would be 10, right? So now we'll move to octet 2. Again this time we have a binary number, that is 1 and all bits 0. So it means bit 1, that is first bit is 1 and all remaining are 0. So all numbers from 2 raised to power 0, 2 raised to power 1, 2 raised to power 2, 2 raised to power 3, 2 raised to power 4, 2 raised to power 5, 2 raised to power 6 would be multiplied by 0, and only 2 raised to power 7 will be multiplied by 1, which will result in 128, means 2 raised to power 7 means 128. So on the right hand side of equal to in octet 2 you can see 120 is plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0, because all are 0, so it doesn't mean, so only 128 would be considered and final output would be 128. Now similarly let's see octet 3, where first bit is 1, second bit is 1, third bit is 0, fourth bit is 1, fifth bit is 1, fifth bit is 0, sixth bit is 0, seventh bit is 0, and last bit is 1. So all you know that last bit is 1, it means it will multiply by 1 into 2 raised to power 0. Then seventh bit, which is 0, 0 will be multiplied by 2 raised to power 1. Sixth bit is 0, 0 into 2 raised to power 2. Fifth bit is 0 into 2 raised to power 3. Fifth bit 0, fourth bit 1, 1 into 2 raised to power 4. Third bit 0, so again 0 into 2 raised to power 5. Second bit is 1, 1 into 2 raised to power 6, and first bit is 1, that is 1 into 2 raised to power 7. Why we are taking it from the right to left? Because it is easy to learn, because when we to remember the formula from 2 raised to power 0 to 2 raised to power 7, these are 8 bits, and this formula is starting from 2 raised to power 0 because 0 is considered as the first number. So 2 raised to power 0 and last would be 2 raised to power 7 in place of 8 bits. So finally when you calculate the result of this octet 3 formula, it will give you 128 in place of 8 bit, 64 in place of 7th bit multiplication, and then 0, 16, 0, 0, 0, 1. When you sum this notation, it will give you 209. Similarly, the octet 4 will be calculated, and here we can see all the bits are 0 except the 8th bit. 8th bit is 1. It means 8th bit is 1 means only 1, that 8th bit will be multiplied by 0, which is 1 into 2 raised to power 0, and that would be the result. But still we are taking the complete formula, and all the remaining bits will be multiplied by 0, means 0 into 2 raised to power 1, 0 into 2 raised to power 2, 0 into 2 raised to power 3, 0 into 2 raised to power 4, and so on. So all would get give us 0, only the last bit will give us 1. So output of this octet for formula would be 1. And finally in the last step we will combine the result of all octets, that is the result of octet 1 is 10, octet 2 128, octet 3 is 209, octet 4 is 1. So output would be 10 raised to power 128,209.1. So in the decimal number, we'll write it as. Let's look at decimal number system to binary number system conversion. Decimal number 192.168.16.1. We have to convert this number to binary number equivalent. For converting this decimal number system to binary number system, we will first divide these numbers to different octets, so that we can combine the result of each octet and get the binary number equivalent at the final step. So first of all, we will take octet 1, that is 192, and divide it by 2. We are dividing it by 2 because in binary number it is using base 2. So 192 by 2 results in 96 because it is exactly dividing the number, and remainder would be 0. 96 by 2 in the second step, and result would be 48, remainder would be 0. 48 by 2, result would be 24, remainder 0. 24 by 2, result 12, remainder 0. 12 by 2, result 6, remainder 0. 6 by 2, 3, 0. 3 by 2, result 1, remainder 1. 1 by 2, as we know 1 by 2 is not exactly dividing, so result would be 0 and 1 would be added to the remainder. So result of octet 1 would be calculate from the last step of octet 1. As we see that the remainder we achieved from the last step is 1, would be considered as first bit of binary number. 1, then all zeros. Similarly, we'll process the octet 2, that is 168. 168 will divide by 2, result would be 84. 0 is the remainder. 84 by 2, 42 result, remainder would be 0. 42 by 2, 21, remainder would be 0. 21 by 2 is not exactly dividing, so 10 would be the result and 1 would be remainder. 10 by 2, result would be 5, remainder would be 0. 5 by 2, 2, remainder would be 1 because it is not exactly dividing. 2 by 2, 1, 0. 1 by 2, 0, and remainder would be 1. So again, result of octet 2 would be calculate from the last step of octet 2, and that is remainder is 1, 0, 1, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0. Similarly, in octet 3, 16 by 2, result would be 8. 8 by 2, 4, 0. 4 by 2, result 2, 0. 2 by 2, result 1, remainder 0. 1 by 2, result 0, remainder 1. So again we get the result of octet 3, but this time it is giving only 5 bits. So in place of remaining 3 bits we can add 0 because we have only 5 bits in the output of this octet 3. So we will add 0, 0, 0 in place of 8th bit, 7th bit, 6th bit, which is missing. 8 in place of first bit, second bit and third bit. First bit is missing, second bit is missing, third bit is missing. So in place of first, second and third we will add 0, or we can add star firstly and later we can replace that star with 0 to complete the octet of 8 bits. So the final output of result or result of octet 3 would be 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 0, 0, 0. Similarly, octet 4, here only the one number, so it will divide by 2 and result would be 0 as it is not exactly dividing the number. So remainder would be 1, and this time only we are getting the 8th bit and not the remaining 7 bits. But 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bits are missing and only 8th bit we do have, which is 1. So in place of 1 to 7 bits we can add 0 or star. So we'll add star and replace the stars with 0 later. So the final output of octet 4, which is 1, will be equivalent to 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 1. Now combine the result of all octets using dot and replace with 0 to complete the octet of 8 bits. So binary number would be 1 1 0 0 0 0 0 0 1 0 1 0 1 0 0 0. Then third octet 0 0 0 1 0 0 0 0. Fourth octet 0 0 0 0 0 0 0 1. Now we have already completed the conversions of binary to decimal and decimal to binary. One more thing I would like to teach here, that is the number system understanding. Like in the result of octet 1, you can see 1 1 and all zeros. So what does the meaning of this 1 1 0 0? 0 means off, 1 means on. Means if there are 8 bits in octet 1, so if first bit is 1, it means 2 raised to power 8th bit is enabled. So means 2 raised to power 8 means 128. Then 1 7th bit is again 1, which means 2 raised to power 7 means 64. So 128 plus 64 again 192, and in the decimal number system you can see 192 is there. This is also another way to calculate the decimal to binary or binary to decimal. So all remaining are 0, means third bit 0, which 2 raised to power meaning of which bit is 2 raised to power 6, means 2 raised to power 6 means 64. Then 2 raised to power 5 means 32. 2 raised to power 4 means 16. 2 raised to power 3 means 8. 2 raised to power 2 4. 2 raised to power 1 2. 2 raised to power 0 is 1. So when we combine the result of all these bits, if all the bits are on, means all the bits are 1 1 1 1, so when we'll combine the output of these bits, it will give us 255. Minimum is 0 when all the bits are 0, and when all the bits are 1, then 255. And I have already told you the formula how to calculate these bits in decimal number, how to convert these bits in decimal number. So hope you have understand the conversion system clearly. IP routing basics. IP routing is something different from dynamic routing and static routing. Forwarding of IP packets by router is called IP routing. IP routing is all about the steps followed by routers to forward the packet to other routers and host. In this figure, host 1 send packet to host 2 via router 1 and router 2. You can see the figure where host 1 is connected to serial 0 by 2 port of router 1, and router 1 is connected to router 2 via serial link, that is serial 0 by 1, and further R2 is connected to host 2. Means when host 1 send the packet to host 2, it has to leave the local subnet and go to the outside network. Since host 2 is in a different subnet, it will use default gateway to send packet out of local subnet. Why? Because host 1 creates an IP packet with source IP 192.168.2.1 and destination IP is 192.168.3.1. 3.1 is in different network. Host 1 will build Ethernet frame with source MAC and destination MAC. If MAC of destination is not found in host 1 ARP table, it will send ARP request to get MAC address of router 1 serial 0 2 interface. Now we have Ethernet frame with IP packet as below. So Ethernet frame is containing the source MAC of host 1, destination MAC of router 1 serial interface 0 by 2, source IP of the host 1 and destination IP of the host 2. When frame will be sent from host 1 to R1, R1 will receive the frame via SE02 interface, and it's a router who will check whether frame check sequence of the frame is correct or not. If frame check sequence is correct, it will process the frame. It will match destination MAC, which should be of R1 SE02 interface. It will de-encapsulate the IP packet from Ethernet frame. Router will then check header checksum. If it is correct, it will continue, else packet will be discarded. Now R1 will see route table. For checking the correct route to the next hop before sending packet to next hop, it will decrease the TTL by 1. Means when it will send a packet to next hop, before that it will decrease the TTL by 1. New header checksum will be calculated and will create a new frame with source MAC and destination MAC changed. Source MAC would be the MAC address of SE01 interface of R1 and destination MAC address would be of R2's SE01 interface. Source IP and destination IP would be remain same, that is source IP would be of host 1 and destination IP would be of host 2. Like R1, R2 will process the frame for checking frame check sequence, de-encapsulate packet, IP header checksum, check destination IP address and see the route details in IP route table. It will then decrease the TTL and calculate header checksum. Create new frame with source MAC of R2 SE02 and destination MAC of destination host, that is of host 2. Frame will be received at host 2 and same process will be done for extracting the IP packet, and it can see its own IP address as a destination IP. Packet is received, process completed. We are ending the session here. Hope you liked the video. Please do like and subscribe. Thank you.